Fair to say the late film that night had a tough act to follow, but
Yeah.
it was completely different, luckily, because it never would have lived up to the chaos of that movie. But so the closing film of that night was a film called The Maid, which was a Thailand
Okay.
film, and it's sort of a supernatural revenge movie. That's sort of how you have to think of it, and
Okay.
yeah, the setup of the movie is then this young girl goes to work as a maid for this rich family, and it turns out then her sister, who's you know died, she also worked for them. So there's
Oh,
this
okay.
yeah, there's this idea then something happened while she was working for them, and that kind of led to her death. So what happens is, I think initially when this maid sort of goes there, she doesn't really know any of this stuff, but she starts to find it out over the course of the movie. So there's a little bit of a mystery there, and you get some scenes where she just starts having like these visions, and she starts like unpiecing these clues. And so the second half of the movie does be, once she's figured all this stuff out, does become more of a revenge type movie. um so it's sort of interesting because a lot of Asian horror does this, where like you do get this different kind of movie, like it suddenly becomes more extreme and a bit more of like a exploitation type movie in the second
Okay.
half of the movie. And yeah, I think that can be a bit off-putting for some, because obviously the first half of the movie, it was more of a slow burn, subtle, like sort of horror, really, and really well directed, really sort of stylish and unsettling. And I think one of the good things about Asian horror is just like the attention to detail of some of the scenes and the way they get under your skin, because there's scenes in this movie where you'll just have, I think you sense something's going to happen, but then it's just a subtle detail at the back of a shot, which is what ends up being the sort of like the jump type moment, or scary moment. And it's just the level of detail. So the really well directed film, really good sort of slow burn, and you obviously have this mystery, and it sort of balances quite a lot. And then obviously it can be a bit jarring when you get this full on like exploitation, and it becomes this revenge thing, and very very sort of bloody, very gory. I mean, because it is a revenge movie, I think that's sort of why I got into that stuff. And essentially, without giving away where it goes, obviously she does start to like extract her revenge, and because you're dealing with some sinister, nasty characters, and in the context of the movie, you kind of get into that stuff. And so I think both halves work really well, and the actress was good, and there are some like moments of like black comedy. There's like where it's sort of turned around on people who have done this, and it's kind of like, okay, yeah, that's sort of satisfying, because they kind of had it coming, even though it
Yeah.
sort of goes to extreme places, and quite a traumatizing film in some scenes, but really really good. I really liked it. I thought it was really stylish, really sort of scary when it had to be, and a nice slow burn, but then boy, that second half really sort of knocks you through a loop. But as a revenge type film, I think that stuff works really well. So
Okay.
really good stuff. Yeah, one to definitely look out for. The Maid, I thought it was really good. It gets a future like release. That's one we should do on the show.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds interesting.
ฉันคงไม่ต้องพูดอะไรมากว่าเธอจะปฏิบัติตัวยังไงในบ้านหลังนี้
ลมพัดพายชายพัดมาออก
นอกจากทำงานบ้าน เธอต้องดูแลคุณนิดด้วย
จนรัง
มาทำไม
คนที่ชื่อพลอยเนี่ยเขาตายยังไงเหรอจ๊ะ